Welcome back to Razmafsar TV. I'm really happy to announce about a very important project which I, with the help of my colleagues in Iran, we conducted. And this project is for the renowned journal, which is a scientific and academic journal of highest standing, Parseh Journal of Archaeology in Tehran, Iran. We published a number of articles for this scientific journal, which are all dedicated to the history of arms and armor in Iran. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Nokande, Professor Nokande, and also Dr. Akbarzadeh, and also Professor Hesari, who approached me to do this series. I'm extremely grateful to the tremendous help offered by Dr. Akbarzadeh, who also asked me to come and help for the editorial process of these articles, and also to ask many international colleagues to come and to join this project. To do so, as many of you know, I have been publishing a lot. Soon I'm going to reach number 200. I published in many countries: Germany, United States, Iran, Canada, France, Spain, Italy, United Kingdom, India, and Finland, and many, Turkey, Egypt, and many other countries. Russia, Ukraine, I forgot, Hungary, and many other countries, as you know. And because of all these conferences, and also martial arts conferences, also historical weapon analysis conferences, historical martial arts conferences, as you all know, I'm very well connected worldwide. To me, to have this series of articles published in Iran had many aspects. For me, the most important thing was I wanted to show the world that irrespective of current politics or old politics or what type of politics we are having on our planet, we all of us publish together and on a very important culture, which is Iranian culture, with many thousands and thousands of years of history. We are going to publish articles dedicated to arms and armor. And to do so, I have gained the trust, and I got American scholars from United States of America to contribute. I've got Russian scholars, Ukrainian scholars, Canadian, British, French, German, and many other scholars who came and published in this. Just again, to name a few countries where all of us live, reside, and work, I just would like to stress again: United States of America, Iran, Russia, Ukraine. To show the world that we are all academics and we all work together and we all have intellectual capabilities and self-defense to work together irrespective of what's going on everywhere. That was very important. And besides that, the topics which are selected are very important, and I'm going to go through them, show them to you so you can take a look at them. First, I'm going also in the description of this video put also a link to this journal. Now you can only read the abstracts, but later on, in a couple of weeks, the articles will be uploaded on Parseh Journal of Archaeology, as well print journals will also be published soon. So let me just go to the PowerPoint presentation I prepared so you can take a look at it. Let me start by saying and introducing to you what is Parseh Journal of Archaeology Studies. or Parseh Journal of Archaeological Studies. The Parseh Journal of Archaeological Studies is published with the cooperation of Cultural Heritage and Tourism Research Center, which is a very important institution in Iran for academic research, University of Bu Ali Sina, another famed university, University of Science and Culture, or Ministry of Culture, and University of Berlin, Freie Universität Berlin in Germany. So this is this cooperation, which are in Parseh Journal of Archaeological Studies. They are involved. Here you see this is the logo in Persian, and here is the logo in English. I have put some of these pictures, which will see later on when all articles are uploaded online. You can take a look at them. You can see arms and armor depicted on Sasanian coins, the so-called turban helmet. You will see analysis of bronze dirks and swords, and also the swords of iron blade and bronze handle. And you will see different arrowheads, bronze arrowheads. Even you go back to flakes, were in the Stone Age, and then you see exceptional bronze shields, which were excavated in Iran. The first, we are going to go through a chronological series, is Dehtal, evidence of the large flake, Acheulean at the north of the Persian Gulf, Iran, written by my colleague, Dr. Fereidoun Biglari, who also supported me a lot during all my research projects. So thanks to Dr. Biglari from Paleolithic Department, National Museum of Iran, Tehran, Iran, helped on his team by his research assistants, Mr. Abdolreza, Dashtizadeh, Mr. Sepehr Zarei, Mr. Sarem Amini, and Mr. Taher Ghasimi. So what is it about? It is about Iran holds great significance for the question of the eastward expansion of the Acheulean hominids, as it is situated between the Arabian Peninsula and the Indian subcontinent. Both of these areas, as we all know, have long and rich records of the Acheulean techno-complex. But in spite of its strategic location, Iran, up to now, has produced little evidence of the Acheulean techno-complex. The only notable examples have been found in the western and northwestern regions of the country. The absence of Acheulean sites in southern Iran cannot be justified, because this region, located in the northern parts of the Persian Gulf, was one of the main dispersal routes for the Acheulean hominids towards the east. And in these articles, Dr. Biglari and colleagues present a report on the discovery of lower Paleolithic locality near Dehtal, located in the northern region of the Persian Gulf. So they provide evidence for that. And that's what makes this article extremely important. Here you can see these flakes and the location where they excavated and found them. The next one deals with bronze weapons of Tole Shoqa, Marv-Dash Plain, Fars National Museum of Iran collection, written by Professor Mohammad Hossein Azizi Kharanaqi, who is an assistant professor of Department of Prehistoric Archaeology, Iranian Center for Archaeology, ICAR, and Research Institute of Cultural Heritage and Tourism, Tehran, Iran. So these bronze weapons is the correct position and the determining role of the second and first millennium BC cultures in the Fars region in Marv-Dash Plain, known as the Shoqa Timuran cultures, and the importance of this culture in the transition from the prehistoric to the historical period, Achaemenid, are still not well known. Despite of extensive archaeological research that has been done in the Marv-Dash Plain and the presence of significant sites of this period, due to the limited and generally very old excavation in these sites, it is still difficult to understand these developments. During that time, huge developments were taking place in Khuzestan and Fars regions. So changes usually created many conflicts between native cultures located there and southwestern cultural origins like Elamite. Some archaeological findings, such as weapons, are sign of the height of such military conflicts in the past. This paper, written by a colleague, will study and introduce the collection of weapons of Tole Shoqa, which were obtained from the excavation of Mahmud Rad in 1942 and Vandenberg in 1950 in that site. Those are now kept in the National Museum of Iran, and this article goes into detail of these findings for the first time. You can see them, some of these arrowheads. You see that most of them are tanged, right? And this one is socketed. Then we go to the next one for warfare of prestige, a survey on Ziviye bone arrowheads. And these bone arrowheads are extremely important in my opinion. Written by Mr. Yusuf Hassanzadeh, head of Research Center, National Museum of Iran, Tehran, Iran, and Dr. Marjan Mashkour, Archaeologie, Archéobotanique from the Société Pratique des Environnements, OMR, the Centre National de la Recherche Scientifique, CNRS, Musée National d'Histoire Naturelle in Paris, France. So our colleague, Dr. Mashkour, who is an expert of botanics and archaeology, or archaeobotanics, writes about them. So it's very important to take a look at them. So Ziviye, as one of the key sites for Iran Northwest Iron Age Median Kingdom, has many masterpieces kept in different museums and a long list of publications. And then there are 51 bone arrowheads which are found there. These are few articles that comprehensive include the findings attributed to Ziviye came from excavation. However, many articles have been published about Ziviye's findings, but parts of this collection still remain unknown and do not receive enough attention. The corpus of bone arrowheads is one of them, some of which were found during archaeological excavations, while others came to museums from antiquities dealers. These include the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York, Musée du Louvre in Paris, the National Museum of Iran in Tehran, and Sanandaj Archaeological Museum. This article aims to introduce and categorize 51 bone arrowheads. And you can see them, some of them here, extremely beautiful. Then my colleague and friend, Richard Nabel, from the United States, he's an expert, as many of you might know, for an ancient bronze weaponry, also a seasoned police officer who knows also the mechanics of conflicts. He wrote about a comparative analysis of ancient Persian copper alloy weapons from a private collection in the USA. So Mr. Nabel is an expert on that, and this paper will compare the characteristics of 4 ancient Iranian copper alloy weapons. These weapons are from private collections in the USA at the time of the examination. The first 2 weapons fall into the category of dirks or daggers. Characterization is based on the overall length of the weapons in questions. For comparative purposes, a dagger reaches 30 centimeters. A dirk is a classification for weapons with overall lengths of 30 to 50, and a sword goes above 50. Precise archaeological data is absent for these pieces because they are in private collections. They were sold on the art market, and Richard goes and offers a very detailed analysis, examines from metallurgical point of view the alloy, what was used in them, how they were attached. And as I mentioned you, because he knows the nature of conflict, he knows the nature of how weapons are used, gives a very, very good insight into them. I just come here and you can take a look at that. Measurements are given. A metallurgical analysis of each one of them is given in detail. So you will see that in this article. The next one is study on technology and investigation of damage on iron bronze by metallic sword excavated from Tole Talesh region, written by Professor Hamidreza Bakhshandefard, Associate Professor, Department of Restoration of Historical Cultural Objects, Faculty of Conservation and Restoration, Isfahan Art University. He was assisted by his research assistants, Ms. Soraya Mohammadi and Mr. Humane Bakhshandefard. The artifacts studied in this paper is a bimetallic sword made of bronze handle and an iron handle, and we know that how bimetallic swords function because they're in constant two different metals, bronze, copper alloy, and iron. They always interact. These interactions sometimes lead to some problems, and he's going to talk about these problems here in this article. So this is extremely important to take a look at that, this iron carbon alloy and how they were made, bronze alloys, copper alloys, and all these things. As I said, this is going to have a galvanic corrosion effect. So he's going to discuss about this issue. And also the casting and hammering techniques used there. You can see it here, some of them. A very, very good scientific article. The next one by my friend from Russia, from St. Petersburg, from the renowned Hermitage Museum, Professor Elena Malozyomova, Assistant Professor, Faculty of Liberal Arts and Sciences, Department of Interdisciplinary Studies in the field of Languages and Literature, St. Petersburg State University, and also from Hermitage Museum, the chivalry culture of Great Khorasan in the 8th and 9th centuries. Extremely important. The article reviews chivalry traditions developed in ancient Iran and their transition and transformation to the country's post-Islamic history. The author analyzes the cultural mechanisms which provided this movement and argues that its roots and prerequisites should have taken in Great Khorasan at the very turn of the Abbasid revolt in the middle of the century. So what is this? It's about the Sasanian Azadan, and then the military concept of chivalry, which was then formed and transferred to the Islamic period of Iran. So this is something which she writes and also the importance of Khorasan, of a period where an external call activated forces and facilities preserved in the stratum of Iranian knights to become the basis for the later military evolution within the new circumstances. Extremely important to take a look what kind of contribution ancient Iran has done and has been still practicing up to today. So you can see from St. Petersburg Museum some of these paintings and things she also included and analyzed in her great article. This article, this is written by me and Professor Dariush Akbarzadeh, Associate Professor, Department of Ancient Languages and Ancient Texts, Research Institute of Cultural Heritage and Tourism, Tehran. The title of this article, Development of Sasanian Swords, Coins, Dishes, and Bas-reliefs. I just forgot that the chivalry culture of Great Khorasan in the 8th and 9th centuries was the title of Elena's article. So we go back to our article. It's about, we are going to analyze Sasanian swords depicted on coins, compare them on bas-reliefs, and also on all of those carvings, rock carvings, and also to existing examples, archaeological examples in museums, different types. And this is the first time that all of them, especially coins, are shown. Dr. Akbarzadeh is an expert in Sasanian coins. I mean, I think the world-renowned expert. So this article provides a very, very important insight on them. So you can take a look. We talk about how they are depicted, how they are hung, and so on and so on, compare them to other artifacts. Then the next one is by my friend, Dr. Kaveh Farrokh from Canada, Methodological Governance University in Paris, France, and Langara College, Vancouver, Canada, Military Reasons of Miraculous Successes Against the Sasanian Sepehr, a re-examination of Kanantabius analysis. This is a very, very good article, and we are martial artists, we are archers. We know that Sasanian draw, for example, or thumb draw, in contrast to what Mr. Kanantabius claimed. Thumb draw doesn't mean you have an advantage over Sasanian finger draw. And by the way, Sasanian finger draw is not with with three, is with two, because this one holds the arrow, because the arrow is also placed on the same side as you do it with a thumb draw, in contrast to the Mediterranean draw where you put it there. For this reason, I always say, if you write about weapons, either you practice martial arts, archery, historical archery, or you cooperate with people who do them. So you get an insight to that. So Sasanian, there is not 3 fingers, 2 finger. So here he goes to describes Dr. Farrokh on purpose 3 finger because he's criticizing the current tabias, the way the 2 finger is called 3 finger draw. And then he successfully explains that, for example, as an example, this doesn't mean it is inferior to this. Towards the end of the Sasanian period, they used both. But another thing is also about the role of infantry, the role of cavalry, why they had victories or defeats. So we need to look at it from a very technical point. That's what my colleague Dr. Farrokh does it in an excellent way, very good way. So he goes maybe categorized into 4 military misconceptions with respect to the Sepehr: the notion that the late Sasanian Sepehr lacked stirrups for the Savaran cavalry, the alleged refusal or lack of knowledge of the Mongolian draw, which is proposed to have been of greater efficacy than the Sasanian so-called 3 finger, which is 2 finger bow shot, the notion of Persian conservatism leading to the Sepehr's refusal to adopt new military technologies, and the alleged supremacy of steep Central Asian or Han Turkey cavalry warfare over the Sasanians. He criticized them very well, explains why this theory does not work. Excellent work he does, and also many pictures where he shows all these weapons. Good job on part of Dr. Farrokh. Then my colleague, my friend, Pete Dwyer, researcher, world-renowned researcher on archery and armor from Sydney, Australia. I just forgot to mention at the beginning, also our colleagues from Australia. Arrow guides in Iran, history, construction, and technologies. So it describes Navak or arrow guides. And he also shoots a lot of archery and things. That's what makes this article extremely important. It describes about when Navak was introduced into Iran, how Navak works, and so on and so on. See that these are the reproduction of Navak he made. Then we got Dr. Anne Feuerbach, my colleague. I have known her for many years, wrote who were the Rus during the Samanid period, the so-called Rus, which we know that refer to Vikings, among others, a re-examination of the 9th and 10th Persian and Arabic textual accounts in light of recent archaeological, genealogical, and genetic studies. So she goes and describes the concept of Rus. We know that they also exchanged swords, right? And they did coins, silver coins, and then she describes the concept of Rus in an excellent way in her article. Then my best friend, one of my best friends from Ukraine, Sergei Gorbatko, I need to say my deepest respect. Sergei wrote these articles in Kiev, where they were affected by war, as we all know. One night he also wrote about how there was a missile attack, and he still kept working on his article. And I don't know how much respect I show Sergei for this. He wrote about his a reconstruction of a Persian reinforced Bakhtar armor from the period of 1540 to 1650, a comprehensive studies. And then here he goes and reproduces a Bakhtar by his hand, forges them, does riveted mail rings. And look at this, he's the best armorer I have seen. Writing about weapons is one thing, analyzing antiques is one thing, but one of the most important steps is to reconstruct. And that's what he designed. And take a look at this. Can you believe this? This is a reconstruction of a Bakhtar armor by Sergei Gorbatko. My deepest respect to Sergei. Then we go to my colleague and friend, Dr. Navid Nicol, Honorary Research Fellow of Military History, Institute of Medieval Studies, Nottingham University, Nottingham in England. Interpretation of Arms and Armor in Fakhr Modabbar's Mubarak Shah, Adab al-Harb al-Shujai, 2 passages from chapters 11 and 19. She has Dr. Nicol, he has an excellent analysis of that. He provides a beautiful analysis, and Dr. Nicol David, he's capable of analyzing the weapons, and he's one of the best weapon researchers with lots of publications. So he describes about Adab al-Harb al-Shujai, about these chapters, and re-examines the way they were presented in the past. Then another one, the so-called turban helmets from Ilkhanid period to the Safavid period by Dr. Shahin Qarakhani from Archaeology, Science and Research Branch, Islamic Azad University, and Professor Mohammad Mortezai, Associate Professor of Archaeology Department of Cultural Heritage and Tourism Research Center, Tehran, Iran. And they provide a detailed analysis from Ilkhani, Jalayirid, Muzaffari, Timurid, Turkmen, Safavid turban helmets and compare them to each other. Very good article. Then I need to say a breathtaking and a beautiful article, an extremely important article written by Professor Jebrail Nokande, Assistant Professor at Department of Prehistoric Archaeology, Iranian Center for Archaeology, Research Institute of Cultural Heritage and Tourism, Tehran, Iran. For the first time, he provides big shows late Bronze Age shields from Bozgir Metal Hoard, Gorgan Plain, Iran. And he describes them because they were excavated next, they were placed on top of axe heads, mace heads, daggers, swords, bronze daggers, swords, and they were hidden. They were deliberately hidden in a room, and down there the whole thing was plastered so no one could find them. And archaeologists found them, and then lots of XRD analysis, XRF analysis on them. And take a look at them. Excuse me. These are one of them, right? You can take a look at this. And then my colleagues reconstructed them by aluminum to just take you, all three were reconstructed. So to see how these shields were carried on the back, also the possibility of holding it this way or that way is open discussion. We need to do sparrings with them to see what works the best. There were some openings in them so we could take a look at them during fight, as you can see it here. And this is an excellent work he has done here. At the end, I would like to thank all my colleagues. They have done an excellent job. These articles will be published soon. And I'm so happy to announce that we are going to have really a big breakthrough in historical arms and armor research. And we are going to start and to continue with this research for historical arms and armor, military strategy, defensive strategy, and many other aspects of the military and ancient weapons and historical weapons in Iran, and working with different colleagues in Iran and worldwide. Thank you very much, and I wish you a nice day.